We're here at Revolution by Emarsys in London, and I have the pleasure of being here with someone who's known, at least at Emarsys, by just his first name, Raj. So
thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you for being here on the show. Thank you for being
pleasure.
here at Revolution. And you were the one to share a whole bunch of big news that we've had at Emarsys here about product and some big exciting announcements. So let's share some of that with our audiences that are watching right here.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great honor, and it was an absolute pleasure. I had the chance to pretty much showcase what our entire product has been doing for the past couple of years. It's been a long 24-month journey with blood, sweat, and tears. I've seen it firsthand, and it's come to fruition at Revolution. What we have done is we've pretty much taken a huge leap in terms of how we need to help marketers do things. What's interesting about this is within the 24 months, we've realized that if we personalize a marketer's experience, they can personalize the consumer's experience better. And it's a revelation for us. And we've realized that the software should be built for the marketer, not the other way around. And that's what we did. And so we built software for marketers in such a way that we'd taken our feature-rich software, and then we built a strategic layer on top of it, which could be personalized for their own business. And then we were also given them turnkey tactics, which can be deployed within days. And if we are to be bold, even within hours.
That's incredible.
And for us, we believe that's a huge leap for marketers, where they can get at least 90% of the work done within a very short span of time, so that they can actually go to the point of innovation very quickly.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And as a marketer who has purchased marketing technology in the past, it's so exciting to me because, and as also someone who gets to talk to people on this show all the time, I keep hearing time and time again, like technology has become synonymous with strategy. And you know, somebody asks, what's in your tech stack? And they're really asking, what's your marketing strategy? And vice versa. And you know, we keep buying more and more technology, thinking that it's going to solve all these problems and be a silver bullet, and what you get is an empty box.
Correct.
And you get software saying, you know what, there's something actually wrong with you because our technology's fine. You're the one who needs to make this technology work. You know, this really isn't here to help you, you're here to help the technology.
Correct.
And I love what you were talking about, that we get to work at a company that empathizes with marketers and says, you know what, we get it. And so here's what we're doing. So just tell us more about how this is really going to impact those of us that are marketers.
And I think you nailed it on its head. The very concept of asking marketers to certify, we think it's ridiculous. Why should marketers certify? It's like every single software vendor in the space is saying, you know what, we are great, we're awesome. You are the marketer, you need to get better. I think the foundational concept of asking marketers to certify on a software, I think it's ridiculous. What's interesting about this is this notion has actually come from a hardcore techie world. And I think that's a huge game changer for us, where our technology team, who are fully driven by technology, passionate about technology, they've realized technology is not the actual answer. Strategy is the answer for marketers. And that's what is going to help their business get better, and technology is just a means to an end.
Absolutely.
And for me to hear that from our dev team, it's amazing.
It's so
you know, it's like me speaking like 20 different languages at the same time. It's almost impossible for techies to say technology takes a backseat, now strategy comes first. So I'm truly excited, and this is a new horizon for us. And I think it's a huge change in the market. It was okay 10 years ago when it was simple marketing automation, when you were having simple channel campaigns, etc. But when you have technology advancing further and further, it gets more challenging. And what we don't want to be is a part of the problem. We want to be part of the solution. And that's what we're doing now.
For sure. And again, what resonated with me is, as I heard more and more about what we're doing as a company, is marketing 101 is, what do you start with? Your goals and objectives, right? What do you want to do? What is it, big picture, what is it that you want to achieve? Right? Not what technology do you want to use? What do you want to achieve? And then, okay, what strategies are going to help you get there? And then the tactics that are going to help you execute. And then, you know, the tools are, the technology is the underpinning, right? It's what makes it happen. And somewhere along the way, in the world, we've gotten that backwards. And I'm so excited to be a part of a company that's taking us back to basics and saying, you know, we get you as marketers, we're going to support you by doing what we think is marketing the right way. So tell me more about this, you know, objectives, strategies, tactics, goals, strategies, tactics approach that we're taking on with our new platform.
Before we go into the framework, let's take a step back and think about it from an organizational perspective, right? So we have the C-suite in the companies where they have big numbers to hit, and they're tracked by certain goals, if you will, right? And these are the big indicators they're compensated on, that's what the public is shared, and that's what public gets invested into that company. So that's what the CXOs do, right? And then if you go the next layer down, the CXOs start sort of speaking to their VPs and directors and go, hey, you know, these are the things you need to be looking at. So they are what we call as the KPIs, leading indicators or strategic KPIs, whatever you want to call it. And again, we see those in public reports and financial statements, etc. But then a layer down is when it gets really mysterious and it gets murky and people don't know what's actually going on. And then you have the strategic KPIs being turned into tactics is where the huge gap is. That's where the huge disconnect is. So the VPs don't get to the layer where the actual strategies become tactics. That's where rubber meets the road. But the translation never really happens. So we are asking marketers who work with a piece of kit to try and automatically translate strategies into automation programs or, you know, channel campaigns, which does not make any sense. So there's always been a gap. And then usually what they do is they make huge investments, get some sort of a, you know, system integrator involved or an agency involved who basically go through a systematic process, understanding their workload, where the bottlenecks are, and put together a huge strategy in place. But that's very expensive. And what's the worst part is it's manual. At Emarsys, we've got 2,000 plus customers. And what is interesting for us is we are good at recognizing patterns, whether we recognize pattern in a raw data set or recognizing patterns in the way our customers are working. And we were fortunate enough to have a team of engineers who just looked at how our customers work. And what we found was there were big gaping holes in an organizational workflow, from translating a CMO's input into a VP's input, from a VP's input to the actual day-to-day marketer's input. So our process was very simple. If we can plug those gaps, so we could potentially create a whole work chain right from the CXO down to the actual tactics itself. And that's what transpired into the goal, strategy, and tactics. So if we can connect the top-level objectives of a CXO to strategic KPIs, which the mid-level management can you know, look at it and monitor. And what if we can go the next level down and we can even recommend the tactics which marketers can implement with turnkey? And that's exactly what we did. And again, we're not saying it's 100% perfect, but what we know for a fact is that it's 90% close to all the business specific things you need on a day-to-day basis. So yeah, and that leaves you with more time to do your special, very specific things which are very important for your business.
Being strategic, being creative, building those relationships. Absolutely, it's so exciting. So how do you, I mean, you've talked so much about what this looks like and what you're excited about, but what are some of the things that you want this audience to know? What are the big takeaways that you want everybody listening and watching to come away with?
So here's the thing, you now have an option. You can go and buy an empty software, possibly very feature-rich with a lot of buttons, red, blue, and green and whatnot. Or you can actually buy a piece of kit which is very specific to your industry, very specific to your business, and then it will help you to adopt the software within 1/10 of the time than you'd adopt any other software. When you have that choice, what would you do? That's the ultimate question I would ask you. But we already know the answer. And I encourage you to say this. Say no to empty software.
We need shirts that say that. Say no to empty software, right? Start a movement. That's exciting. So, bigger picture, we talked so much about what's coming and future, but we always ask the guests on the show, kind of zoom out a little bit. What do you see coming for the future of marketing? So we've talked a lot about the future of Emarsys, which I think obviously has been forward thinking about the future of marketing and what's best for marketers and what's next for marketers. But what do you see headed our way that you're either maybe excited about or concerned about?
One of the things, first of all, I'm excited about is we're starting a movement essentially in the marketing where we're saying technology is not the biggest thing, strategy comes first, put the marketer first, and then the marketer will put the consumer first. So I think it's a huge movement, and we're hoping some of our partners will follow suit as well. What I'm really excited about is all the partners who are working with us want to join the bandwagon, and they want to do exactly what we're doing, which is what we're doing. We're having an open framework where our partners are going to join in, all the technology partners are going to join in. So we can essentially go in and say, if you have this huge stack of products, instead of it being a tech kit, we can actually make it into a solutions kit. What I'm really excited about is that we can spearhead this movement. And we are here on this now. It's not vaporware or it's not slideware. Yeah. It's for real, and we're making this happen. That's what is exciting for me. On the other hand, what I'm concerned about is we don't want this to become a negative impact on marketing in a way where marketers shouldn't think, oh, let's not think about the day-to-day activities. Let's think about buying more solutions. That's not the point, right? You still need to concentrate on strategies.
Yeah.
And what we really want from the marketers is to contribute back more to the community. And that's what we're doing. We are pretty much creating a framework where marketers can contribute to the community itself.
Right.
Essentially, if you think about it, it's more like an open source marketing community, and that's what we're developing at the moment. And that's what really, really excites me.
Yeah.
Whether you're in the e-commerce community, or whether you're in the retail community, or that's a travel community, now if you find something which is great, and if you know another marketer is going to help them and do their things better, and that's what it's going to be. It's not a technology anymore. It's more of a strategy sharing. It's like open strategy framework, if you will.
I like that, strategy sharing. I like that.
That's what it is.
I like that. That's very exciting. Yeah. It's very exciting. Okay, so before we let you go, another thing we always do with our guests is something called rapid fire.
Okay.
So, first question. If you had to summarize marketing today in one word, what would that word be?
Marketing is revolutionary, I think.
Ah, good word.
Yep.
I like it. Here we are at Revolution.
I guess why I thought about it.
Let's tie it all together. How about something that you wish marketers knew, but you're pretty sure they don't?
That's a good one. Marketers are clever people. They actually know a lot of stuff. One thing I would say is technology is not a means to an end, right? So it's only a part of your solution, and don't accept anything less, really. That's what I would say. I want to keep it simple in that way.
Yeah, demand more.
Yeah, demand more. You can actually ask the vendors to do more.
Yeah, exactly. And lastly, but certainly not least, what's some content that you've consumed lately, book, podcast, blog, newsletter even, that you'd recommend to our audience?
Oh, that's a tricky one. My taste is very varied.
That's okay.
I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, and recently I've been reading his book on astrophysics for people in a hurry.
Oh, just light reading.
Just light reading, just light reading. I commute a lot, and for the past 4 years, I've been a voracious consumer of Audible.
Yes, me too. Me too.
So I downloaded it recently, and I loved every bit of it.
Great.
And then back to back, I had a recommendation for Rendezvous with Rama. I don't know whether you've seen it. It's a fiction story by Arthur C. Clarke. It kind of went well with real world science to science fiction. Yeah. So yeah, if you're into that sort of thing in astrophysics.
Okay, well, Raj, thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Where can our audience find more of you and anything that you might be sharing with the world?
Yeah, there are a couple of places. Obviously, on our Emarsys blogs, there are several pieces I've written. Please come and find me on LinkedIn, and that's where you can also find me. Plus, if you type my name into Google, you'll find several videos which has been released where I've done in the industry events and things like that. And I'm always available when you need me. Just email me.
Sounds good. And although you're just known here as Raj, we will actually share your full name in the show notes and in the lower thirds here on the video. So thank you so much, Raj, for being here, not only here on Marketer and Machine, but for having such a big presence here at Revolution. It's been great.
Thank you, Lindsay.